Hey PlayStation Universe, you might have seen the other videos already, but we're back, and we still got more to talk about. And one of the things we got to talk about is Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which John and I both got a chance to get our hands on.
And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I guess first we'll start off and we'll talk about we both got to play as Athena, which was, we both had a lot of fun using that, but we both did two different skills, followed different skill trees. Like in past Borderlands, you have 3 separate skill trees and you can follow through with that stuff, but they gave us all the points to be able to fill out one skill tree all the way, so that was cool for them. But so we'll start with what you did first.
Yeah, basically, like, the skill tree I went down under, I call it a Captain America tree, because essentially you use the shield. The ending skill is basically every time you ricochet off another enemy, it lowers the cooldown, so essentially you get to use it more often. But it promotes the use of the shield for Athena, which, when I had it out, recovered health for all my party members and me. And then, like I said, like the bottom one was the ricochet to use it, and obviously damages, runs around, you know, hits things. Yeah, basically, I mean, started off with that. I was actually playing with another person playing as Wilhelm. They, however, decided to run really far ahead, so it took me like 10 minutes to catch up to them because I had no idea where they went. And I also forgot that I was on the moon, and that there was low gravity, and I could actually jump from place to place, which they kind of throw some chasms in there. So. Yeah. That was kind of interesting, and I guess segueing into the low gravity, kind of thought it might have been a little bit of a hassle, a little bit issue, but it actually, you get like kind of like a double jump, so it's, like I said, it allows you to reach distances or like heights that you necessarily couldn't have reached in regular gravity, so it was kind of interesting.
It's a little off-putting at first, because like John said, at the beginning I was running around and I was trying to figure out how to get to the marker and realized that, oh, I can just jump because there's low gravity, but then it made it way more interesting, and you can actually just, like, if you have a marker on like a second story of a building and you're on the outside, you don't have to try to find a walkway. You can just strategically jump all the way up.
Just jetpack right up, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But anyway, for the skill tree that I did, it mainly focused on just kind of run and gun shooting, like we all know in Borderlands. That's a big thing in it. But I had a bleed effect on a lot of my melee attacks. Mine beefed up melee and beefed up the bleed. Every time I made an enemy bleed, I got health back. So it was kind of a continuous, like, kind of vicious circle type of thing. So. And that was a lot of fun. And one of the other things in my skill tree that it focused on was another new ability that takes place in the pre-sequel, where if you jump in the air, you press circle to crouch, and you'll land and you'll smash on the ground, and it'll send out kind of the shockwave thing. But mine did kind of a cryo freeze, which is another new thing, is you can freeze enemies in this game. So my shockwave at the bottom would freeze everyone that was around me, and it also, in the skill tree, pulled people towards me, so it did this whole kind of cool, like, a lot of things just happened all at once, and it just did a ton of damage, and it was a lot of fun.
And something that you could do when you cryo-freeze someone is basically do that ground pound again and shatter them to pieces, like, instantly.
Yeah, and then it's cool, like, instead of, like, in most games, if you shatter something, it'll just fall, but since you're on the moon, they all like stay together and just kind of float. So, like, at times, there was kind of a slight issue when I was fighting a bunch of enemies, and they all broke, because then I couldn't see anything for a while, but it was still pretty cool, so... but the demo didn't last very long for either of us. I'm pretty sure I was only single player, because I was kind of on my own part of the station. So, I did single player, John did multiplayer, we both did the same area, but it was just basically running to a base, and we just kind of shot up a bunch of guys, and then we got to an end point where this big creature kind of came out of this lava pool, and then it just cut to black.
That was half frozen from what they made us do in the mission, with emptying the coolant pipe. Which is kind of, and then also something else that's part of the pre-sequel is oxygen being on the moon.
Yep.
Yeah, that initially I kind of had negative thoughts going into it about that. I thought it would be more of a hassle than anything else, but it ended up kind of working out. I mean, they threw stations down, like, everywhere on the moon, basically enough for, like, waypoints, I guess you could think of them, or, like, killing enemies, they dropped, like, oxygen tanks and stuff like that, so you don't necessarily have to go to, like, these, like, way stations or whatever, and, I mean, they placed them out appropriately, and I think instead of really weighing us down, I feel like it just stopped the dilly-dally, shilly-shally that probably would normally happen in Borderlands, you know, kind of just run around shooting things, you don't really pay attention, so it kind of made you focus a little bit more on what you were doing.
Yeah, I thought it made a lot of sense, and they did put them in they put them in appropriate places that you were walking on, so it really wasn't an issue, and it actually kind of made you feel like you were It was like one of those little kind of meta games where you're like accomplishing something by doing this, and you keep going, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go, and then we keep. So it's like constantly preparing yourself type of thing. Yeah. So it was kind of a cool thing. But yeah, is there any other major points you want to touch on? I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, wish someone could have played as Wilhelm, but it just ended up we played as Athena. That's just how it went. Yep. So. And
I'm sure both of us are looking forward to seeing how the other two characters play out. So I'm interested to see how they do Claptrap.
Claptrap really is, sure, I think going to be the highlight of the pre-sequel eventually. So
yeah, but start to finish, both of us had a ton of fun going back to Borderlands.
It's the same kind of fun, just more of it.
Yeah, so we're really looking forward to getting more hands-on time with it in the future, and we got more videos for you to come yet. E3's not quite over, so keep refreshing the homepage, and we'll see you guys later.
Later.